So now in this part, guys, we are going also to make a boss. For making boss, before we are going to randomly instantiate enemy. So we can also make a counter, and we reach to that counter, then instantiate a boss. But the easiest way that we can do it is that instead of the randomly instantiate our enemy, we are going to just make it the public int. I'm going to call it current index. So I'm not going to randomly instantiate the enemy. I'm going to instantiate index by one. Okay. So now here I'm going to make it comment. Maybe some of you want to have such a kind of to random instantiating, but I prefer that to have here instead of the randomly, I'm going to say current index. So which will be current index will be 0 and 1 and the rest of our enemies. Now, but for now it's 0. It will always going to be instantiate number 0. We need to add 1 to our current index. So here, as soon as we did all the process, you are going to say current index plus plus. That means we are going to add 1 to our current index. So now, the next problem I'm going to show you, we are going to get error because if I'm going to activate our enemy, going to enemy controller, here we have current index will be 0. As you see, still we have a number 1, but we have the index 0, and then we are going to change, and then we are going to get error that there is nothing inside of our array, and we get this error. So now to fix that, first here I'm going to stop it. Here I'm going to disable our enemy. So we don't want an enemy, and then let's go back. I'm going to make a start function after awake. Inside of a start, we want to create our enemy. So that means as soon as we load it to the game, we create our enemy. Now here, we need to do something else that we are not going to have more than our index max. So for that, we all need to say if inside of that. So we say current index is equal to enemies dot length. That means the end of our index. Then what we want to do, we want to set the current index to 0, which later we can make a new scene, and as soon as we reach to the length of the enemy, we can load our game, so load to new game, new scene. So now if I'm going to save it and back to the game, you see that it's going to instantiate the first index. So now here the current enemy, this one, where is the current index is number 1. So now I'm going to kill it. That is the second one, and it's back to 0 because we have just 2. As soon the 2 is finished, going back to the next one. 1, 2. 2 is the max because it's the max index, that's why. That means if we have more enemy, right now, if we are going to our prefab, I'm going to control it to make another one. So, or let's delete it. I can make it here actually. So here, if I'm going to duplicate it 4 times, and then I'm going inside to change the sprite. So I have this one, I have this yellow, going to use the green one. It's going to use this one. So now I can prefab unpack completely. We don't want to make them prefab anymore because we want to put them here again. So now we can, because we have them as a prefab, we can delete them. Now let's go to enemy controller. I'm going to add more to it, and number 4. So now let's see. It's instantiate 1. The second one, the third one, you can see the current enemy is the enemy number 3. And the fourth one, which will be our boss, and after we defeat the boss, we can go to next level. But for now, we are going back to the index number 0. So now that is how we can do the boss. For example, the boss, if the boss is number 4, delete it again. So here, for example, I can make this enemy a little bit bigger. So for example, this one is the boss. I'm going to override to apply that just for this object. So now I'm going to delete it. When I play, when I reach to that number 4, we are going to call that boss. See it becoming bigger, and as soon as the boss die, we can go to the new scene. So that's all for this part. Next part, we are going to make a button for our game. See you in the next video.